morning, sir.
How are you?
Doing quite well. How about you?
I'm doing great. Today is April 6th, 2022.
Yay.
This is episode 18. Welcome to Two Guys, One Coup, where the truth matters and your feelings don't. So, how do you like that? How do you like that catchphrase? There you have it. Something
Yeah.
new, something exciting.
Yeah.
New catchphrase for Two Guys, One
I
Coup.
like that.
Thank you. I'm kind of a genius that way when
You're
it
a
comes to
thinker.
thinker, man. That's what I do. Again, welcome everybody. We appreciate it. Last week, Jim and I were together. That was different. Hopefully, the next time we're together, things are a little bit more organized. Jim, you were spot on. You had a great show. I was terrible, but that's okay. Like you said, you've carried the show thus far through 17 episodes. So might as well carry the weight.
I don't think that's the case, but
I think you have. Anyways, welcome everybody. What a great day it is to be alive, and we got some stuff to go over now.
Yeah, and I do want to add a quick note for those of you who saw the video of Dale and I guess myself on the golf course. That
in
was
honors of Master.
That was not me running. For those of you who don't know for sure, but
well, I'm saying if you don't know that for sure, but I think it's a doppelganger for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if I've ever seen
I there was some resemblance. Okay, fine.
Yeah. So, anyways, if you haven't seen that, go check out the Two Guys.
It is very
Facebook
funny.
page, and or just my own personal page because I posted it there too for the world to see.
Yeah, very funny. Yeah.
In honor of Masters Week, the Masters tournament this week, of course. Tiger Woods is playing in the Masters, so that's pretty impressive. That's great, and he's great for golf. I don't care again about his personal stuff. He's great for golf. He's great for the game of golf. Viewership will be skyrocketing if he somehow can make it to the weekend.
Oh man, can you imagine if he not just make it to the weekend, but in contention? I mean, that would be huge.
Contention. Oh, if he's in contention, it'll be a ratings boom. It'll be incredible. Next week, I'll just inform everybody that most likely we won't have a show. We have travel conflicts for both Jim and I next week, where we just won't, I think, have the time to do it. So
it'll be hard. Yep.
It'll be hard to do. I apologize. So this will be this is episode 18. Episode 19 will be in a couple weeks. Jim, let's review what we're going to talk about today real quick. We have some more of the Disney controversy, right?
Yeah.
On Ron DeSantis's "Don't Say Gay" bill. We'll talk about that for sure. Unbelievable how they just,
Man, that's not at all what it is.
Of course not. Of course not. Don't say gay. We're going to talk a little bit about Palm Springs, California, too, and what you could do to earn $900 a month.
My favorite, right? Yeah.
That's one of my favorite stories today. Stay tuned for that. But you can make $900 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Couple catches, but
just a couple. Yeah.
Couple catches, but we'll see what happens there. Kamala Harris's staff is dwindling, as it should. I don't know how many people she has on her staff, but people are jumping that ship, and for obvious reasons, and we'll kind of talk about that. We'll go in a little bit about the Hunter Biden laptop, because that is still obviously fresh and happening and fluid.
Interesting emails. Emails that actually reference what his dad did for a son of an individual he was working with out of China. So
you mean the big guy?
Yeah.
The big guy.
Yeah.
Also, we have we're back with a top 5 this week. Jim, what is our top 5 this week?
Top 5 is going to be our top 5 movie comedies of all time.
Whew.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Brutal.
It was, because as I'm going through this list, I have a ton of honorable mentions, and I could have added 20 more.
Oh, I could have too. I stopped at 5 honorable mentions just to keep it that way. But I could have continued and continued and continued and continued.
And I got one more thing to add, a little bit of a follow up. We have some more information on Black Lives Matter. How this group still I've never seen a group of people more used in my entire life, the African American Party, being used by the Democrats, and now Black Lives Matter and Antifa. And I'm going to go over a little story with Leo Terrell. I don't know if you know him.
Right.
He calls himself 2.0 because he
Yep.
was Democrat. Now he saw the light and he's Republican now.
Full blown
oh
Democrat.
Yeah, and
I mean full blown.
So it's just it's funny but sad that this continues to happen, and we'll get into that. So
we'll get into that. Yep. Yeah. Again, it's just it's more of the African American community just being used and abused. To me, it's modern day slavery.
Which, in all honesty, that's why more African Americans are coming over to the Republican side. They are.
I mean, let's be honest. It should have always been that way.
Because, like we've always said, we offer hands up. We'll give you a helping hand. We'll do whatever we can to get you back on your feet, get going. However, we're going to teach you how to be able to take care of yourself. And tell people, correct. And it's not just a black issue. It's white, black, Hispanic. If you want to be responsible for yourself, that's a Republican Party. If you don't want to be responsible for yourself and have all these excuses out there and the liberals taking care of you, then by all means stay as a Democrat.
Exactly.
And let me know in about 5 years how that works for you. So.
Let me know now how that's working for you. Jim, let's get into this. Let's start, if you don't mind.
Let's do Disney. Yeah.
Let's start with that. We take a good close look at that. It's kind of the latest lefty rant in America right now. Is of course directed at Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, and the parental rights bill that he signed just recently, just earlier in maybe a month ago now. It's been, I think. Let's start with some background on this. Ron DeSantis, fantastic governor. I live in the state of Florida. I get to experience the freedom that is Florida every day, and I thank God for it. Signed a bill in March. It's the Parental Rights and Education Bill. Now, keep in mind, this bill it's less than 10 pages. I mean, could be one of the shortest bills ever written in history, right? And it received bipartisan support in Florida.
You mean there was no money or anything going towards
no earmarks,
the Kennedy Center and all that?
No, wow. Nope. And certainly none going towards Disney.
So bills can be passed. Okay. All right.
Cool. Yeah, you can pass a bill without all the extra bullshit.
Wow.
Anyways, 53% of Democrats statewide support this bill.
How many?
53%.
Okay. All right. It's still over 50%.
Right. It's still over 50%. And 70% of Floridians. So I'm sure you're taking the, 99% of Republicans into 53%. You kind of coming in the middle there. So what's in this bill? What's driving the lefties absolutely crazy now? Oh, insane. To another level of crazy, if you ask me. Here's what it reads. Okay, here's the section of the bill that is really driving everybody on the left nuts. I quote, classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through grade 3 or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with the state standards. Okay, that seems a little kind of legalese, right? I mean, it's definitely in there. What does it mean exactly? Simply means that it bans school employees or any third party from giving classroom instruction on sexual orientation or gender identity in pre-K, kindergarten, first, second, and third grade students. That's it. Plain and simple. No discussion about sexual orientation. That doesn't mean that you can talk about heterosexual relations and how babies are made and all that. It's not sex ed. It's clearly you don't talk about it in any aspect. Now, I don't know when I read that to you if you heard the word gay in there.
Not at all.
I'll review it again. Nope, not in there. Okay. But the left has deemed this the Don't Say Gay bill. Anyways, it just means Mrs. Crabtree can't tell you about, this. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we have
sexual activity. It's simply what it means. Okay?
We have schools failing miserably on everything from science to English to math. And this, people are concerned that and again, it's just teachers shouldn't be teaching kids this at an early age. It's more their parents should be doing this. But anyway.
And it's really brilliant of Ron DeSantis because now, yes, the left has gone crazy. They've deemed it the Don't Say Gay bill. But let me find a 25, 30-year-old elementary school teacher that wants to teach this. I want them to now defend it. They're forced now to defend this.
There are some
that want to teach this.
Yeah.
Those people shouldn't be allowed within 50 miles of an elementary school.
Nope.
Those people are generally have to register everywhere they move. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
If you want to, as an adult, talk to a 5, 6, 7-year-old about transsexualism, heterosexualism, homosexualism, non-binary, bestiality, where does it end? If you want to do that, then you literally need to be deemed a child predator.
Well, and what makes them experts in it? I mean, what makes them experts to be able to tell people, especially if a kid goes, well, why would a guy want to become a woman? They're not in any position to teach that.
To put this in simpler terms, obviously, this is a parental decision. It's a parental rights bill, right?
Yeah. Which is why the left hates it.
Well, that's why they hate it. They don't like the parents in charge. Mm-hmm. We saw that at school board meetings last year, right? During COVID and all that. They don't like when the parents have any control whatsoever. Mm-hmm. But in simpler terms, and I'll actually credit my daughter on this. She goes, it's basically, in a much simpler term, having the teacher tell my kindergartner that Santa Claus isn't real. That's not up to her.
Good point.
To tell her that, I mean, that is a simple, I thought, brilliant, but she is my offspring, so of course she's brilliant.
Well, it takes after her mother, yeah.
I'd say more so Mrs. Dale than anybody else. Yeah, that's for sure.
My kids take after their mom, which is thank God.
Which they're happy about, I'm sure. I think I think they would be perfectly fine taking after you, but I could see how they would not want to. Anyways, so everyone, like you said, this is simple, right? Parents should not teach these little ones all this crap, right?
Shouldn't.
I mean, everyone should be on board with that, right? Let's review some of what I call verbal diarrhea from the wacko left this week. Jim, your girlfriend and soon to be ex-White House chief liar spokesperson, Jen Psaki, said this: it is certainly something that is not helping. Young people who are members of the LGBTQ plus community who are already vulnerable, already being bullied. She doesn't believe it helped. Peter Doocy, chief White House correspondent for Fox News, asked her, at what age does the White House think that students should be taught about sexual orientation and gender identity? Great question, right?
Yeah.
How can you, at what age is it appropriate in their mind? Psaki responded much like you think she would. She said, the law's a reflection of politicians in Florida propagating misinformed, hateful policies that do absolutely nothing to address the real issue.
Well, that answered the question.
What hateful policy to have parents responsible? That answered it, didn't it?
Yeah.
That really answered the question. Misinformed, hateful policies, parental rights bill is now a hateful policy. Leave it up to the left.
All it is saying we don't want sex ed or anything similar to sex ed being taught to our young children. What is wrong with that?
Only the left can find wrong. And I have to think that if this bill was passed in Nebraska or Iowa or South Dakota, one of those states that they don't care about, right?
Yep.
If this bill was passed there, would this have gained the attention? If it wasn't Ron DeSantis or maybe even Ted Abbott, if it wasn't one of those guys, would this be a story?
Greg Abbott.
Or Craig Abbott. I'm sorry. Who did I say?
Ted. I think you combine Ted Cruz and Greg Abbott, which would be a perfect combination. But hey, but
ugly.
You said it. Yeah, you said it correct. It's Ron DeSantis.
It's Ron DeSantis, and
the biggest threat, and absolutely the biggest threat outside of Trump, of course, to their holding power in the presidency. Because what do the Democrats always do to a Republican candidate?
Oh, just
we're racists, we're bigots, and far from the truth. I mean, I don't know how many times we heard that Donald Trump was a racist president, terrible, worst ever, when nobody could give me an example of it. Every bill the guy signed, a lot of the bills helped African Americans. The money that or the tax cuts that he had out there helped. But this is
Americans.
This is what Democrats do. Liberals. This is what they do. Anybody that runs with an R behind their name, it works most of the time. It works because let's face it. What is the big issues right now going on? It's and once we get into Black Lives Matter, it's race. It's race.
Yep, it's race. Well, it's their go-to. It's their MO. It's always racist or sexist. That's it.
Excuse me.
So on top of the obvious reasons, obviously this law is beneficial. Another benefit that the left absolutely and hates, and we kind of briefed over it, was that this kind of now it allows the parents to know what's being taught, right? It draws a line in the sand, in a sense. The left hate that. We talked about it. They do not like the parents to have any control. They don't want the parents to have any say-so in their students' educations, whether they can wear masks or obviously whether they can be taught, sexual orientation. The left hates it. It doesn't fit their narrative. It doesn't allow teachers now to groom the young, most impressionable people in our nation, their minds in a direction that they want them to go in. And obviously we know, and I can't, not all teachers are liberals. Not all teachers want this. Not all teachers, again, before I hear feedback and bullshit from somebody about you can't classify all teachers, we know. Okay.
Yeah. We're not.
It's not. I'm not saying that.
But they need to speak up.
They need to come out and speak up. And some have, to their credit. And some that I actually know have.
Look at the public school systems. The enrollments are going down. We have more kids being taught at home, especially with the COVID situation now. We have kids being taught at home. We have, the private schools now with vouchers they're going up. Parents, granted, I'll be honest with you, they're parents are part of the problem with public schools, right? Because we have some parents that just, they don't care. They expect the teachers to teach their kids and that's it. Plain and simple.
Yep. And do nothing else.
That's not most of the teachers, but those parents we have to give in to.
Yep.
Those parents and the good parents that are tired of it take their kids away.
That's right.
And it's because parents have had enough. I'm glad I feel for my grandchildren when I eventually have them, because unless something changes with our public school system, we might do whatever we can to have our grandchildren go to a private school.
Private school or homeschooled, right?
Because it's
a shame.
This is getting ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And then the funding the public schools get. anyways, that's another
Yeah,
show.
we can.
Yeah, we can get into that later. But anyways, this brings. So that's background on it. Maybe it took a little longer than I wanted, but it brings me to the most wonderful place in the world, Disney. Yeah. Disney World, Disneyland, all of Disney, the land of flying elephants and mystical fairies, right? What is Disney? Why do they even care?
You can't say that now.
What, fairies?
Yeah,
or mystical?
You can't say that. Okay. They're LBGTQ.
F. Fairies. LBGTQ plus F. First off, so keep in mind that Disney World's in Orlando. So, obviously Orlando, Florida. Everybody knows this, I believe. And some background on them. Florida holds gay pride days, gay pride parades. They've been doing this since June of 1991. This isn't, and that's fine with that is what it is. I kind of think it's not the right place for it. In my mind, I don't believe an amusement park geared towards children is really the place you should have anything like that, But
they do let you know.
They do let you know.
You do know the dates, so if you don't want to take your kids there during this time, you don't have
to. Correct.
And they are a private entity, so they can
do that. That's their right. That's absolutely their right to do it. It's even their right to have an opinion. But anyways, we'll move on. By 1995, the event had grown to 10,000 gays and lesbians traveling for the Gay Day at Disney. Okay, that's what it was called. As of 2010, approximately 150,000 LGBT people, their families, friends, and supporters attended the 6-day gathering. All right, that includes various pool parties, conventions, festivals, a business expo, activities for kids, you name it, with about 20 to 30,000 people going to Disney on the final day. Again, it's held in June. It's happened for quite a long time now. So here's what's funny. A local DoubleTree resort has dubbed itself the official hotel for the event. But listen to this. With convention space rented to various businesses, bathroom remodelers, gourmet cooking suppliers. I mean, they hold this convention. And so it's kind of like a convention, normal one, and sex toys. Yes, you can go to the DoubleTree and at the convention center during Gay Week and buy sex toys if you want. Now, Jim, as the show's resident expert on sex toys, do you feel the need that should be at a Disney, supported event?
No, come on, any industry that that advertises to children, right? In my opinion, it shouldn't be. And I am not an expert on sex toys, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't say you were, but between the show, I mean, you're more.
I just play one on podcast.
It amazes me that. Now, this is not a gay bash thing. I've got gay friends.
Yep.
I mean, they're wonderful people. Some of the best human beings I know, honestly. They're really good-hearted people. It has nothing to do with, I don't even look at them that way. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. But in the quest to be equal, do we really need to have gay weeks? Or gay days, or gay events, or gay pride parades, or why not just join a regular parade and with your gay float? Or what, gay supporting float? Or why not just go to Disney whenever you want? Or I still don't understand why in a world where people want to be equal and treated the same, they have to exclude themselves to these individual events.
Right.
Never does make sense to me. So, but anyways, if they want to go pay $400 to ride Magic Mountain or $30 to eat a cheeseburger, have at it. They're more than welcome to, because it ain't cheap, Disney.
And Magic Mountain's a ride, not a person. I'm sorry, that was bad.
So Disney responded to what I am now going to call, Jim, the Stop Adults from Perverting Your Children bill.
Yeah.
I mean, why not turn it around on them?
Yeah.
Disney announced after some backlash for not immediately responding. They stayed out of it for a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But boy, oh boy, they're the minority of their employees and the left media and everybody started, well, what's Disney think about this? As if it matters.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
On March 7th, Walt Disney Company CEO Bob Chapek sent out a company-wide email stating that Disney can make the biggest impact through the inspiring content it produces. What does that mean? That means the content that they're making, the movies, the cartoons, they can add, they'll make a difference by adding gay characters. We know this is happening. We already know this is happening.
You can kind of tell. Anyway, with some of the older stuff,
correct.
That character is a little,
that's right. So you can tell. So anyways, that wasn't enough. Lefties, what? That's not enough for us. We demand more from Disney, right? So on March 11th, 4 days after he said we can make an impact with our contact, 4 days later, he put, it is clear, Bob Chapek, the CEO, it is clear that this is not just an issue about a bill in Florida, but instead yet another challenge to basic human rights. You needed me to be a stronger ally in the fight for equal rights, and I let you down. I am sorry.
You're forgiven.
Basic human rights. What about the rights of the parents who don't want this talk? Doesn't matter.
That's not basic anymore. That is not basic.
It is not normal, right? That is not basic. Right. That is not normal.
Right.
What about that? What about the 190,000 employees worldwide Disney has? Do any of them, do you think, could be a supporter of the bill? Do you think any of them might agree that their kids should not be taught this? What happens to them? Where's their voice in this?
And how many nations?
We'll get into that. Stop right there, boy.
Okay.
I'm telling you. Oh, yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Now, the super geniuses at Disney, the employees, they staged a walkout, 15 minutes per day, in their displeasure with this. So basically, it's a smoke break, right?
Pretty much. An extra break, right?
An extra break. Basically, that's what they did. Brave, very brave of them. That wasn't enough. All right. The Florida bill has everything to do with California, right? Doesn't it? Because it's a Florida bill.
Yeah.
So at Disney's corporate headquarters, located in beautiful Burbank, California, hundreds of employees walked out of their jobs to protest on March 22nd. A statement, because they should. California should walk out because it's a Florida bill. Again, the left making total nonsense. A statement on Twitter from the Walt Disney Company reads as follows. Florida's HB 1557, also known as the Don't Say Gay bill, should never have passed and should never have been signed into law. Our goal as a community is for this law to be repealed by the legislature or struck down in the courts, and we remain committed to supporting the national and state organizations working to achieve that. We are dedicated to standing up for the rights and safety of LGBTQ plus members of the Disney family, as well as the LGBTQ plus community in Florida and across the country. That's Disney's statement. They are committed to standing up for those people. They are uncommitted to standing up for the ones who agree with the bill.
Right.
That's what it says. Bottom line.
And it all goes back to the parents that spend their hard money to go to Disney to spend, it's not cheap. Don't want, and it's a simple thing is they don't want their young children to be taught this. That's it.
It's it. This is so overblown, so out of proportion, so much lies from the left. The whole don't say gay is just garbage.
Yeah.
It's shit. It's made up. They're lying. They know it. They don't care because it's Ron DeSantis and he's the most powerful governor in the nation and probably the top candidate for president in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
We've discussed that. Yeah. Side note, here we go. So you asked about it earlier. I'm telling you about it now. Disney Cruise Lines, a subsidiary of Walt Disney Company, offers a 9-night Southern Caribbean cruise starting at $3,870 per person, which sails this July to Antigua, Dominica, and St. Martin. Okay, great. Sounds like a fun time. In Antigua, same-sex sexual activity carries a penalty of up to 15 years in prison. Same-sex marriage is also illegal, and there are no laws prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity. That's in Antigua. The next, they're sailing to Dominica. Same-sex sexual activity is also illegal here and carries a penalty of up to 10 years in prison. Same-sex marriages are also illegal on the island, and there are no laws prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity. Oh boy, better skip that and head to St. Martin. Well, St. Martin, a constituent country of the Netherlands, performing same-sex marriages on the island is illegal and is prohibited to change one's legal gender. Well, I think they'll probably cancel that trip, don't you? At 3,800. Yeah, should they? Also, so here we go. More. Keep in mind, Disney Plus now will operate in Algeria, Egypt, Libya, Morocco, Oman, Palestinian Authority, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Tunisia, and Yemen.
Very pro-gay.
All of which outlaw homosexuality. In these countries, LGBTs face imprisonment, labor camps, and in some, death sentences. Yeah. Wow. What is this really about?
We talk about it. The
hypocrisy of the left. Again, Chapek, Disney's current CEO, has gone on to say that Disney has signed the Human Rights Campaign statement opposing similar legislative efforts. He also said the company will pledge $5 million to organizations working to protect LGBT, the alphabet people, rights, including the Human Rights Campaign, HRC. But the HRC now says it won't take those funds. So what does John Madison, the interim president of the Human Rights Campaign, HRC, have to say? Listen to this. The Human Rights Campaign will not accept this money from Disney until we see them build on their public commitment and work with the alphabet people, advocates, to ensure that dangerous proposals like Florida's Don't Say Gay or Trans bill, now they've added that, never said that in there, but yeah, they've added the trans portion of it, don't become dangerous laws. And if they do, to work to get them off the books. Now, what is the Human Rights Campaign? Well, right from their website, and unfortunately now it's in my Google search, it says it's an organization that envisions a world where every member of the LGBTQ plus family has the freedom to live their truth without fear and with equality under the law. We empower our 3 million members and supporters to mobilize against attacks on the most marginalized people in our community. Their website is hrc.com. Now, who else has initials HRC? Anything come to mind? Could it be Hillary Rodham Clinton? I'm just saying.
I've actually forgotten about her.
I know. But that's when she sneaks up on you on the most. She's like Freddy Krueger. You know, you dream and there she is. Perhaps it's a new Clinton Foundation. I don't know. Speculation. Not truth that I know of, but it is odd that it's HRC.
We keep hearing about pushing for the rights of the LGBTQ community. There's already laws against discrimination. There's already laws.
I'm trying to figure out where they are discriminated at.
Yeah,
I really like to know.
I just don't. I don't get it. You've got people who are never going to be okay with it. All right. Correct. For whatever reason, they're never going to be okay with it. Just like the LGBTQ community will never be okay with certain people. Right. Correct. They just won't.
Yep.
But they're not being discriminated against. Just because we say things like Leah Thomas should not be able to compete against women in women's sports. That's not saying that. Yeah, that's not saying we're against transgender. That's just saying a man shouldn't be able to compete against a woman in a woman event. I mean,
does that not seem simple to you? Is that not common sense to you?
But that's because we're passing all these bills, because we're concentrating on the movement towards, it's just money going to specific groups to make more money to be able to do whatever they want with the money, more than likely give to Democratic candidates when there's already laws against discrimination. Exactly. There's already laws against it.
And the sad truth about the whole thing is that Ron DeSantis was forced to actually come up with a bill so they won't teach your children sexual orientations and gender transformations. And that's the sad part of it all.
But
he actually had to come up with
it. Should heterosexual couples be complaining because, wait a minute, I want my kindergartner to learn about man and woman, marriage.
Where babies come from, the whole works, how it happens.
It's the same difference. They're not talking about that either.
Well, of course not.
It's just,
it's unreal. Unreal. I'm going to wrap this up. I've got more on it, but I'm taking a lot of time on it, obviously. Just recently, there were videos of Disney executives, producers, animators that publicly, and you can watch them, you can go find them, that they were obviously not meant to be released, but talking about how they are so happy they get to push the gay agenda and they get to push more gay characters and transgender characters and animation and all that. Listen, again, be who you want to be gay, be transgender, be that and live a happy life, But at some point, none of this should be portrayed on our children.
No.
It just is not right. It's predatory to me. Mm-hmm. It literally is. And then when they're, and the buzzword on the right is, it's grooming them. And I truly believe that. Yeah. It's grooming them for their agenda, which eventually leads to their voter. I mean, it's a long-term plan. Trust me.
Look at the 18 to 25 range. Look at how liberalized they are now. And it's getting worse. And it's because it's starting earlier. They just
it's getting worse, and in some respects, some of it's starting to turn a little on that age group, a little bit,
because
not enough.
Well, it's not turning enough because those individuals think they should be able to start at a job at $80,000 a year, and they're not gonna
put in the work.
That measly job of $40,000.
Yeah.
No,
that's right. They're not gonna put in the work.
So they still, look, be you and I. How many times have we said this? Be who you want to be. I don't care. I absolutely don't care. But there's other people that have that opinion that they do care, just like other people.
That's right.
But that's what the United States is all about.
That's what it's about.
Be who you want to be.
That's what the United States should be all about. Unfortunately, the United States is the greatest country, and I have complete faith that all this bullshit will go away. Yeah. I really do. The country is more conservative than liberal. Yeah. They're even more socially conservative than they are socially liberal. But at this point, most conservatives don't care. They don't care about gay marriage as much. We're not out there bashing gays. You're not seeing things that happened in the past where people are being ridiculed, killed, abused because of their sexual orientation. Yeah, it's not happening because there's laws in place, Jim, because we've come a long way. Yeah. And to have them just continue down this path of lying and making shit up as they go, it's just a detriment to our society. Mm-hmm. It will end. I have faith in it. I do. I really have faith it will end.
It's typical, excuse me. It's typical liberalism, right? We're gonna push an agenda and we're gonna gain ground. Mm-hmm. And we're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep pushing, which is the whole reason this whole gun control thing, right? I mean, I know we're going off top, but the gun control thing, they sit there and say, well, we only want to make it to where you can't buy an AR. Okay.
Yep.
So, all right.
Then we want to lower the clips.
Yeah.
The amount of clips.
So then,
go ahead.
oh, no, then when that bill gets passed, it moves to this. And they're saying, hey, we got that in, so we're going to do this. This is why conservatives make the stand now, because it's enough. Enough's enough.
Enough's enough.
You guys don't work across the aisle. You don't work with other people. You have your agenda, and you want to put it out there, and you don't listen to anyone else. So now we're taking a stand. Parents are starting, and I just never. Virginia was the perfect example of parents standing up, and it wasn't conservative parents. Yep. It was liberal parents, conservative parents, all working together to say, we do not want this for our children.
And they proved it. They proved it in the voting booth.
Yep.
And they proved it. And historic.
Yeah.
Still in Virginia.
Now Disney, just wait. We're going to see. We're going to see some changes, only for the simple fact that I guarantee you, there's a ton of people dropping Disney Plus right now.
There are. That's what conservatives do.
There's families that are trying not to.
Probably stock is plummeting.
Yeah, maybe let's go to Universal.
That's right.
Let's go to Universal, not Disney. Correct. So,
that's
now when they start losing money, that's when the stockholders say, okay.
They got to answer to the board of directors, right?
Yeah.
And that's when it happens.
Ask Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby when they get attacked by the woke, by the left. Look at their sales the following months because we support that.
We support it. We support it. Jim, go on. I'm sorry. No, finish up.
Nope, that's it. We support. Look, we support everything, right? I mean, we all go to stores that are heavily leftist, right? Sometimes you can't help it. Amazon, you just can't help
unavoidable.
It's
unavoidable.
But once you let me look at Starbucks as an example, right? So they've unionized now in New York.
Yep.
Okay. So now your $5 cup of coffee is going to be $8. You're never going to get it on time because they're not going to be able to hire the baristas to make them. So, but anyway, they got that. But, I can't wait for the remake of Sleeping Beauty where Cinderella is the one that wakes Sleeping Beauty up.
Oh, that's right. Cinderfella, you mean? Or, the non-binary and the tramp. I mean, whatever the new titles are going to be here,
Mickey and Donald.
The pronoun in the tramp, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but they're going to have to answer to this. It will go away.
Yeah.
Right now, it's the big buzz thing because, of course, it's Ron DeSantis. This guy can't fart without it being the wrong fart. Right. So I'm just telling you to the left because they just
making them popular.
They making them popular. That's right. Keep it going, left. Yeah. How's it working? Yeah. Jim, what do you need to review right now? What are you going into?
Well,
switching gears, people, to this.
As we always look, because we've had some really good shows where we've done deep dives, into electric cars versus combustible engine cars, where the batteries come from mining lithium, to your Disney deep dive, the alleged. I hope I say this right, so we don't get knocked off YouTube.
Don't even say it, Jim.
The alleged voter fraud that you did a great job of digging into.
Don't say those words. I don't care. Yes, correct.
How many times do we always say, "Wow, I don't have a big story to discuss," but we always joke and said, "Well, it doesn't matter because the left there'll be another story the next day."
Oh, there'll be every day.
Every day. Was there a story?
Jim,
headline.
Tell me.
California City to give universal income to transgender, non-binary residents regardless of their earnings. What does this mean?
What?
Okay. So non-binary, by the way, non-binary, in case people didn't know that out there, is just somebody who doesn't describe themselves or a man or a woman. It's the they, the them, all of that stuff.
Yeah. Can I ask a question
Go
before?
ahead.
If you're non-binary, are you able to just say you're not? Like, can you just say right now, I'm non-binary? I declare myself non-binary.
You're neither man.
You have to go to.
You're neither man nor woman.
do you have to go to court or do some like legal changing or anything like that to like a document, a birth certificate, anything?
I have no idea.
So anyways, this city wants to give money to transgender or anybody who wants to say they're non-binary. Yeah. Okay. Go on. I'm just clarifying that.
This gets better.
Oh, how good.
They call it the universal basic income to transgender and non-binary residents regardless of their income. Transgender residents in Palm Springs, California are eligible to receive this money up to $900 per month solely for identifying as transgender or non-binary. No strings attached.
Why?
This is $200,000 set aside. 18 months is what. So they're going to get this extra money for 18 months.
200,000.
Yeah, $200,000. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. 200,000 has been set aside, so it's not. That's why they say up to 900. So some people may only get 400. Some people may get. I don't know what. I don't know. I honestly don't know. If you're a transgender and you just started taking horse hormones, you get this much. I guess I don't know. If you're a transgender that went all the way and tucked it back up inside, and then you get 900.
Would not the transgender be like would that not offend them in a way where it's like, you have to see my medical records? You have to what? That's HIPAA violation, isn't it? I mean,
a former San Diego councilman, Carl DeMaio, who was a Republican, publicly gay Republican on the city council, calls this program outrageous and discriminatory.
Wow.
Well, it is. It is both.
So wait, he was on the council, or he was Republican, or he is Republican, and I'm confused a little bit. Sorry. Is he is Republican, but he no longer sits on the city council?
No, he's
just
former.
An ex-city council.
Former city council.
Gotcha. That's what you meant. Okay.
Now, again,
clarify that.
Keep in mind, in San Diego, he served on councils where they did stuff like this, where they did programs. But all these programs that they did this for always had income-based requirements.
Some requirements other than...
Right. And so that's his point. Okay, that's the point he's trying to make. He goes, look, these other bills that we pass, you have to have a minimum income. This is a transgender person that could be making $100,000 a year is still going to get this money. It doesn't matter. And it was voted unanimously by the city council. And it's so.
But I don't get it. Like, why?
Because for normal, rational thinking people, this makes no sense. And it's not going to stop here. Just think about this. Just think where all in these left areas where they're going, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? Okay, now, Dale, you can't move to Palm Springs today and say you're transgender and get the money.
You're not allowed.
No, because 20 transgender and binary Palm Springs residents will receive the free money.
Wait a second.
They already know.
They know which ones are going to get the money. They know who the transgenders are, who the non-binary people who claim are non-binary.
Apparently.
How do they know this? And how's there only 20?
No.
Well, wait. I know why. Because that's a minority thing.
It's
very small percentage of the world is this.
Now I feel
we
better.
Cater to them.
I feel better because the advocacy-based health center, DAP Health, and LGBT advocacy group, Queer Works, are managing the program. I feel better. I think this is going to be handled very well. And I just think
I do too. I feel better about this.
The DAP Health CEO, David Brinkman, claimed to reporters that the transgendered population is one of the most marginalized populations in our city who face some of the highest levels of housing insecurity, joblessness, and discrimination.
Wait a second. Non-binary people, I can't get a house.
Well, first of all,
they can't buy a house or a car.
If you would have told me this 10 years ago, all right, I might have believed it. No way in hell are you telling me that there to be in California.
in California of all places.
These groups are being discriminated against. It's just bullcrap. They're trying to. It's basic. They're just trying to go out there and show, look, we're pro this, pro that, so we're going to be considered heroes and everything else, and everything's going to be the world again. And if a man doesn't want his penis anymore, it's la 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 la, and we're all going to dance in the streets, and it's ridiculous.
I would say they're buying votes, but that's generally their voting base, anyways, right? To be honest, I mean, I would say more trans or non-binary probably lean left more than they do right.
Right.
I'm not saying they all do again, but so what is the purpose?
So what they're saying is that the budget they get the project budgets of this project for special cases. All right. Special is $1.8 million a year. All right. So what they're saying is this is no different than what they're doing with all of these other special groups and special things that they're going for. This is their excuse. Well, like the gay advocacy groups and stuff like that gets the money, or if you are, I guess.
Oh, you mean instead of just like one lump sum check or something, they're just gonna. So basically,
it's money towards things, right? It's just money towards special projects, and. So that's what they're making excuses on this. Now, I would love to interview Palm Springs residents because you can't tell me they're happy with this. And it's now Palm Springs Mayor Lisa Middleton, who is a transgender, pointed to the transcript from the City Council's March 24th meeting where she expressed strong reservations in general to guaranteed income programs. So the mayor of the city, who is transgender, does not agree with the bill as written.
Okay.
Now, if they would have put income on there, if they would have spent less than $40,000 a year, they would have been okay with this. But because there's no questions asked, I don't even know how you prove that they're transgender.
I mean, without a full physical exam or a doctor's note, like when we were a kid trying to get back into school, so, I don't know.
So Middleton goes on.
Even more, I don't know how they prove they're non-binary.
Exactly. Well, that's completely ridiculous in my eyes. That's one that doesn't make any sense. But this mayor, who is transgender, I specifically stated that I did not believe such programs could scale up to adequately respond to over 37 million Americans living below the poverty line, the over 6 million Californians, or the over 400,000 in the county of Riverside living below poverty line. Wow. This is what this Lisa Middleton, who is transgender, said about this bill. And it's because there's people that don't. Now, I like what she's saying. Okay.
Well,
however, she's saying that if there was minimum income on here, they would be okay with her. So
isn't there already a minimal?
It's never okay to give people money for a specific, just because you are who you are. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's never okay. Isn't there already a program in place? If you are below a certain level, you can get assistance.
Yeah.
Regardless if you changed your identity, if you claim you're a different identity, whatever it is, there's already programs in place that if you reach, that's why they couldn't put an income level. They just want to give them this money to show them we're helping, and we want your vote. That's all I can claim it to be. I can't, it doesn't make sense.
We're worried about right now. What the whole point of this is, they're worried about the past few years where transgender children and their families have been targeted by extremist legislatures and governors. Wonder who they're talking about.
I wonder who
they're talking about. And
like full circle.
But all of this is stemming. I'm sorry, all of this is stemming from that. So I ask you folks, how soon? How soon before these cities that are talking about giving African Americans money as to help offset reparations for what happened to their ancestors, not necessarily them, but they're giving money. It's coming, okay, and it's coming in a way that I don't think we want that at all. because it's going to teach. What's it going to teach?
This is taxpayer money.
Yeah, and it's not always going to be forever. And how long have we learned that when somebody gets on welfare, more than likely they don't come off. It's just hard don't for them to come off, because they don't want to work.
Become reliant.
They become reliant. And but that was
Jim.
That was the news, because we've been talking about transgender, with the Leah Thomas story, and now with this cyclist, by the way, that the women in the cycling group voted no.
Booted her out.
He should not be allowed to race.
He should not be allowed to race. But yet there is a transgender weightlifter that the Olympic Committee is allowing.
Yeah, and I remember what I told you, that you have to have a level of testosterone below. You can't tell me this person has below 40. You can't tell me that.
Well, I don't know if the weightlifter does. I mean, who knows?
They can't compete in the Olympics if they test above that level. See, and it's the woke movement, right? It's just it is. Now we have female swimmers coming out and speaking against what Leah Thomas is doing. It's not fair. Mm-hmm. It's not fair. Yeah. Now, I do know we have what my favorite thing is you have some of these other people who have nothing to do with this that come out and they support Leah and his/her achievements, but they don't give a crap about the girl who finished 5th, who didn't get the trophy. I don't know if you remember reading about that race where Leah had to get the trophy, and they literally told the girl, "We have to give Leah the trophy."
Yeah,
and it's like so it's
a mad world, Jim.
This world, we're really cycling down into a. I mean,
we're spiraling into a leftist, wacko, progressive, far left agenda. I don't know that stuff will ever stop. This little stuff, like we're going to give transgenders money in Palm Springs. There's 20 of them. How they know that, I don't know.
Maybe you have to register.
I don't think we'll ever. Yeah, I don't think. Maybe you do.
Isn't that illegal?
Maybe you have to. Isn't that illegal? Maybe you have to show ID or something.
Oh, wouldn't that be funny?
Wouldn't that be funny? So, anyways, great. That's amazing, Jim. I'm baffled and shocked. Anyways, it's just another lefty lunacy program that your taxpayer money is going to.
Well, not ours. Thank God, it's
not ours. Well, not ours, but not yet.
I know it's coming.
Not yet.
It's coming.
Not yet. But anyways, moving on here, I want to just kind of briefly jump. We just have, I think, a couple like kind of smaller stories we want to talk about. Mine is Kamala Harris. What is the problem here with what is the problem with our first female African American vice president? The historic nature of that all. Why can't people work for her? I wonder why. Another staffer has just left her circle. This makes number 12, by the way. It was her deputy chief of staff. I'm going to screw this name up, but did you hear the name? Michael, pronounce this last name for me. I'll spell it for you. F-U-C.
Oh, come on.
H-S.
Well, Fuchs.
Fuck you? No, fuck me. Oh, God. Anyways, he has left. He's left. Long time he was with her, has left the staff. I think we know why. Rumor has it, I don't know if you've heard this, but and I think it's obvious by any speech she gives, she doesn't prep for him. She doesn't prep her notes. Really? A lot of the staff says they spend days, weeks, months on certain events where she refuses to just read their information. She is by far the biggest idiot vice president we've had. And keep in mind, we've had Al Gore and Dan Quayle, right?
Right.
So, I mean, we've had some idiot vice presidents in this world. She is by far the worst. And I guess just a terror to work for. But this makes number 12 in 15 months that have left. I mean, she's almost losing one a month.
Right.
Now, maybe they're seeing some writing on the wall. Maybe they're seeing, midterms are coming. So a lot of these people might be on, might have been on their campaign staff and decided to, I'm going to go do this. That shit happens. I get that. But 12? And before everybody says, well, how many people did Donald Trump? No, Donald Trump fired him.
Yeah.
Donald Trump fired him.
These people are
these people are voluntarily leaving. She's a buffoon. Anyways, I don't have much more on the story. I just think it's interesting how many people are bailing ship there.
Judge Janine Pereira, right? Her last name, Judge Janine on Fox.
Yeah, Pereira, right?
Pereira, yeah. Okay. She said it best when she said,
one of them Dago names.
She's tired. She's absolutely tired of people saying she's very intelligent, very well spoken, when she's a complete and total idiot. I mean, this was the biggest joke. I mean, the biggest joke ever. I mean,
it was.
I'm sorry. You guys can make fun. How many times was Dan Quayle made fun of for the potato thing?
And rightfully so. But
Kamala Harris makes Dan Quayle look
like Einstein.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, one of the smartest people, ever. The Isaac Newtons, all these people, and but we always have to talk about how wonderful she is and how this country's much better off without Trump.
If you're racist, if you don't, you're right. I mean, you're deemed a racist or you're deemed a hater, woman hater. You're a racist if you criticize her whatsoever. She literally just has verbal garbage spewing from her mouth that doesn't make any sense on every speech. Go look one up and tell me that it does. That's why she was destroyed in the primaries when she was running for president. Absolutely destroyed. Couldn't even win her own state. And this is what we have running the roost. Did you see, just a side note before we get on, because I think you want to talk a little bit about Black Lives Matter. Did you see yesterday who was at the White House?
Yeah. And I feel much better now. Yeah. Everything's going to get fixed.
Mr. Barry Soetoro was there. Do you know him? Mm-hmm. You might know him as Barack Hussein Obama.
Right.
But anyways, he was there to celebrate the 12-year anniversary of the Unaffordable Care Act. Yep. And what was amazing about it, and almost sad to a point, did you see the video afterwards when the speech was over, when the cameras are still rolling? Joe Biden is wandering the room looking for anybody to talk to him. It was, I mean, you ever see that scene in Pulp Fiction? You might have or might not, where John Travolta has walked in the house and he's looking for the girl and he's just looking around. He's looking at his watch, looking around. That's exactly what this was. It was a feeble, weak, useless puppet that was walking around this room, literally looking for anybody to talk to him. At one point, he put his hand on Barack Obama's shoulder and said his name, totally ignored him. Barack Obama still reaching in, shaking hands, talking to other people, and Joe Biden turned around. Like literally nobody, like he wasn't in the room. It was almost sad to watch. It was almost one of the saddest things I've ever seen.
Well, everyone talks about Trump, narcissist and all that stuff, which we've already talked about this. People of wealth and power, they're narcissistic or they wouldn't be where they're at. No one's more
a little bit of it.
No one's more narcissistic than Barack Obama. I mean, he loved every bit of that. I think he hates being out of the limelight. He just wants to be. But let's face it, that may have been his first, scene trip to the White House. But
that's not his first influence,
right? Trust me,
he's running the risk.
Well, Soros is running him, which in fact is running them. So
correct. But it was just a sad display, and it was like he was just a lost puppy wandering around there, a defeated, weak man. Mm-hmm. And the world sees these videos. Does anybody understand that? That people around the world, leaders around the world, see a video like that, and they're like, what is going on?
Well, and that's why.
What is going on over there?
We all know that it's a joke. When you look at Biden and Kamala Harris, and they speak on the international stage, you were being laughed at. I mean, and we are being laughed at. The liberals thought the rest of the world hated us because Trump was in there. You know what? Would you rather be liked or respected?
Yep, exactly.
And Donald Trump did that. You're going to respect us because you need us. I don't care if you like me or not.
I don't care if
and that's just the way it should be. And you need to respect the United States because we are the ones that are called on to help when things are in a mess, right? We're the ones
there's a clear contrast.
Not with this Ukraine and Russia thing. And I think the reason why there's no clear, they sit there and say that we're, they speak against Putin and all that stuff. But, in all honesty, we don't know what's going in the background because damn well if there was ever an agreement, which we know I believe there is out there, that that Russia had some little things to do with getting rid of Trump as well. And he would have had to work with somebody, right?
Perhaps.
So anyway, it's
a stark difference between Trump leader, Biden non-leader.
Exactly.
I mean, there's such a wide difference that it's plain to see. The world sees it. The country clearly sees it. Look at the polling numbers. Look at his approval ratings. Historic lows, unbelievable as a matter of fact. There is only truly, I believe, one way the Democrats can remain in power and win this November in the House and Senate, and that's not the legal way.
Yeah, and even
that's
with
the only possible way.
You and I even talked that it's I don't know.
It's going to be very difficult.
I don't really see it happening. Yeah, it's going to be really difficult now because people are watching.
I don't either, but just as soon as I think the Democrats have gotten as sneaky as they can, they come back and slither more into the weeds.
Yeah, but I tell you what, if there's any more elections that stop counting in the middle of the night,
they'll be hell to pay. Yeah.
Stop. Get rid of it. Yeah. Revote. I mean, revote.
That's it. That's it.
Anyway, sorry, YouTube.
You want
allegedly?
Yep. Sorry.
Allegedly.
Who cares? Anyways, Jim, you want to talk a little bit about Black Lives Matter?
Yeah. Do you remember? And I'm not going to know this story completely, but do you remember when Big Brothers and Big Sisters got in trouble because some of the upper echelons were going on private jets and all that? They got fired, they got removed, and it really hurt their donations for a while. Okay,
I do.
It's a good foundation. It's a good but you have people at the top levels that are just not always the best people, right? That's why when you and I, when we give money to like Wounded Warriors or the Towers, Tunnel the Towers. These legitimately majority of all the funds go towards this. You don't have 50% goes to this, the other 50 goes to this, right? Well, Black Lives Matter is a, and again, I'm talking about the organizational Black Lives Matter, and I'm going to get into this in a minute. But $6 million Southern California house used by Black Lives Matter leadership has been shrouded in secrecy, with a new report putting the organization in damage control mode again. All right. Damage control mode again. Okay. According to New York Magazine. 6,500 square foot building known among Black Lives Matter leaders as Campus was purchased with cash in October of 2020 using funds donated to Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. That's what we got to talk about. Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. That's what we're talking about. Not the people that go out not the people that are actually going out there saying Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay. But they are being fooled. Anyway.
Yes, they are.
Now, they said that their angle is, quote, our angle needs to be to deflate ownership of the property, which was an internal Black Lives Matter memo said that this was a Black Lives Matter internal memo. Okay, according to this report. Okay, and they also asked New York Magazine, "Can we kill the story?" Which every journalist loves that, right? Oh, there's something here, Now, that's unlike CNN, where they say kill the story on Hunter Biden, they kill it. They literally,
Well, there's a difference between journalists.
Facebook killed it. Twitter killed it. All of these places killed it to where nope, can't mention it, or we're gonna block it out. Well, the same memo reportedly included bullet points about campus. I love that, campus. How many of us have a 6,500 square foot campus?
You do, but not many.
Now, you are going to love this. Such is how it is used by the cultural arm of Black Lives Matter and could be used as an influencer house where artists can create content and as a safe house. The memo reportedly acknowledged holes in what it called the security story, as the house would be used for publicly available YouTube videos. That's to come later. Okay? So 2 days after the report reached out to the board member, Shalomaya Bowers, I am assuming, emailed a statement claiming that Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation purchased the property with the intention for it to serve as housing and studio space for recipients of the Black Joy Creators Fellowship. Now, I'm doing some digging on that, so I hope to have more information because it sounds like another. Okay. Anyway, a program that was reportedly announced the next day as providing recording resources and dedicated space for Black creatives to launch content online and in real life focused on abolition, healing justice, urban agricultural, and food justice, pop culture, activism, and politics. Okay, so
food justice. What do these things mean? What is food justice?
Now, I want you to know.
Yeah,
this was stated after the story came out. The next day, this is what that house was for.
Okay. Gotcha.
So now here's what's the difference is, right? They're used to people just saying, all right, we don't want to touch it. They're too powerful. Let's let it go. Let's move on.
That's right.
That's not happening anymore, folks. Now, Tori Russell, okay? She's an activist based in Ferguson, Missouri.
Oh, boy.
We know about Ferguson, right? Told New York Magazine that she has been trying to raise money for a community center in Ferguson and had been trying to get Black Lives Matter to help them and contribute to them.
Oh, my God.
They're not.
You're kidding me.
They are not. Okay? Now, Black Lives Matter had just received $66.5 million before the purchase of the house, raised after the death of George Floyd. Okay?
Jesus.
2 weeks after the group got the money, Diane Pascal bought the property. Pascal, the report says, manages finances for the LLC run by Patrice Cullors. We remember her, right?
Oh, yeah, we did a
who
story
at the time was
you did.
Yep, who was the executive director. She's the one that got in trouble for buying multiple houses for $1 million.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yep.
All right. So, again, Pascal then reportedly transferred the ownership of the house to another LLC set up by law firm Perkins Coie. It was
we've heard them before too.
It was after the property officially changed hands that Black Lives Matter started using it. Okay. 2 months after the purchase was granted tax-exempt status by the IRS. But while that means they must now reveal donor and expenditure information, they reportedly failed to submit the necessary forms in 2020, 2021. Dale, what happens if we... Oh, you know what? I forgot to submit my... Oh, dang it.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, IRS.
Catch you next year.
And I don't know how many times IRS contacts me and said, fine, no problem. Pay us when you can. Right?
Put you on a payment plan.
I'm still waiting for that, right? Now, Bowers claimed in her statement that the organization always planned...
That's okay then.
To list the house in disclosures to be filed this year. Okay, so
I'm glad they always planned it.
If you remember the story that I talked about, Black Lives Matter, they're exempt status for the IRS, but they haven't been filing taxes through the IRS. But they're going to start now. Remember that story?
Well, yeah, that's right.
We're going to start saying where the money's coming from, where it's going, starting.
Sorry about it. You know, we forgot.
With
but
this
we'll do it
group, it's always starting now. Okay, because in a year from now, we're going to have another story, and they're going to say, well, okay, starting now. Okay. Now, she stated the building is not used as anyone's home and was bought through LLCs as a matter of liability protection. Okay. Now, this is not
who said that? The current
Black Lives Matter, Bowers. Okay, are the wonderful person who's just explaining this away very well. Now,
is it? Yeah. Wait a second. Is it her legal team? That's
of course
stating that. Oh, how can they afford that? Go on. Go on. I'm sorry. Yeah. Go on.
Anyway. Now, here's the funny thing. The California house is not the only expensive Black Lives Matter property. BLM Canada announced in 2021 they were buying a mansion to be used as a Black community center in Toronto. Sounds good. Hey, sounds good, right? They're going to build this mansion that's sitting empty. They're going to buy it with money that they got through funding to build a community center.
Yep.
I have no problem with that.
Sounds like it's up and up.
Right.
What's wrong?
The reports later showed the public record listed the purchase included $6.3 million paid to a nonprofit set up by people including Janaya Khan, who is married to Cullen's sister. Who is married to Cullen's.
No. Jesus God. Come on.
Now, 2 Black Lives Matter Toronto leaders quit the organization, citing the handling of the group's finances in the resignations letter.
Forced to leave?
So, now, remember when I talked about the YouTube videos?
Yeah. Uh-oh. Is this going to get us kicked off YouTube again? Go ahead.
According to New York Magazine, campus was barely been used to produce content, despite that being one of its stated purposes. One video that was produced there was nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, but was a video of Colors baking a peach cobbler as part of a planned series for her personal YouTube channel.
Oh, my God.
But this is now listed as private, so you can't go out and watch it unless you're accepted into this thing. So,
like onto her YouTube channel?
So another video from May of 2021 featured Colors and Black Lives Matter leaders Alicia Garza and Melina Abdullah sitting on the patio commemorating the first anniversary of Floyd's death. In it, Colors reportedly lamented how right-wing media had targeted her and the organization, specifically pointing to a New York Post article about how she spent approximately $3 million on 4 houses. How dare us?
How dare us question that?
How dare?
What gives us the right to question it?
Folks, now I'm going to briefly talk about Leo Terrell, because I know I've talked about this quite a bit. But Leo Terrell, who is he calls himself Leo 2.0, all right, because he used to be a Democrat. Now he's Republican because he saw the light.
Yep.
He is a civil rights attorney, but also a Fox News contributor. And he is saying that this group is profiting off of Black people. They're profiting off of Black people. And you saw the one about Ferguson, where this woman's trying to raise money for a community center, which is all Cory Brooks, the great pastor that's on this, who's trying to build a community center. Okay.
Yeah.
And boy, if that Black Lives Matter with all this money that they get from everybody, right?
Yeah.
Would just be used correctly. But now, Terrell, he said that he questioned the group has accomplished to benefit the Black community while the organization leaders are living like the rich and the famous. Basically, they're not accomplishing anything towards helping Black Lives Matter. They're collecting all this money, and by God, if you are like the NFL and you don't support them and don't give them money, boom, they ask their players to attack the NFL, and they go after them, and okay, we put their hands up, and then we find out shit like this. Okay,
that's how much power they have.
Yeah. Now,
and influence.
Because this is coming off that $6 million purchase. He says black people were exploited. It is basically blood money because all of this is stemming from George Floyd, right? The wonderful human being that we all talked about is just, always helped kids. He went and helped the homeless, and he helped feed it. Oh, he didn't really do that? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, he did take a lot of fentanyl off the street because he ingested it.
Yes, he did. He did take it off there.
In a way, he helped.
Now, what I like about what he did is he called out the NBA and other major corporations for taking advantage of Floyd death. He said they want to be on the so-called right side of justice. They were on the wrong side. He pointed out that the black community hasn't benefited from the $90 million raised in 2020. That's just 2020. And that no Americans will benefit from Black Lives Matter purchase of the California mansion. Black Lives Matter. Okay, now here's where I am finally proud. Here we go. Yep. We're wondering why nobody is filing anything. Nobody's investigating these guys, right? How many times do we have to see this? Black Lives Matter now faces legal action in at least one state. You want to know what that one state is?
I'm going to guess Florida.
Indiana.
What?
Attorney General Todd Rokita said his state is going to address the matter of how donor funds are being spent and get to the bottom of it.
And in your state,
in the state of Indiana, and the Attorney General Todd Rokita.
Jim, will you be able to attend any of the court proceedings?
Yeah, I have sent an email to him. I am actually going to be able to sit in the front row, and I can ask 3 questions if I want to.
Jim, I don't think you're trying hard enough, buddy. I'm saying.
So anyway, he's looking forward to the investigation, but like me, nothing's going to come of it. They're just too powerful. It's just right now, Indiana and Todd Rokita, because Todd Rokita is white. They're going to be. It's going to be a racist thing, and I bless the guy. I mean, good luck, because he's fighting somebody bigger than the Clintons, if that tells you anything. And
yes,
and so
yes. Now,
look, and all I want to say to this is, when are the African Americans going to get tired of being used by the Democrat Party and groups like Black Lives Matter, where your lives don't get better? They don't. No. It's excuse after excuse after excuse.
Correct.
And you guys accept it. You guys go and you wear the shirts. You go out and you go to the protests. You march down the streets. And all you're doing is making these other people wealthier. Yep. Because remember, there's that statement that said that Black Lives Matter is not donating money to the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
Even though the company or the organization that collects money from these fundraisers and these groups, right?
Yeah.
All of the money that one of the things that the Democrat fundraising programs goes to this program.
Yep.
As does the money collected by Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
But Black Lives Matter does not give any money to the Democrat Party.
It all goes in the same pot.
It's not in the same pot. It's in the same, like, it would be like a bank. You and I share a bank. My money's in the bank. Your money's in the bank. It's not the same.
Oh.
That's what the excuse of the Black Lives Matter rep and Democrat rep said about this group. Oh, it's just like saying in a bank, that your money's not my money. It's like, got news for you folks. Now, I don't have the time or the money, or I'm not a journalist, but I see smoke.
Yeah. So, and where there's smoke, there's fire.
Now,
and Jim, if your money's in a bank and my money's in a bank, and somebody comes in to rob that money, are they going to just rob your money, or my money, or both monies?
Yeah.
Just like Black Lives Matters do.
Exactly.
Just like the Democratic Party's doing.
They're given. I'm sorry, and I know I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but Black Lives Matter is a fundraising arm of the Democrat Party. Leo Terrell, all these groups in Ferguson, they're asking money from Black Lives Matter to donate to them so they can build these community centers, so they can help, get, help in the cities that they're at. Never has Black Lives Matter done it. They buy houses.
Yeah.
I mean, this Colors can't believe that the right-wing media is going after her for these 3 houses she bought, or 4 houses for $3 million.
Exactly.
Yeah, I am questioning it. I'm sorry. I'm going to question it, because how many people on the top of these fundraising make the money to be able to buy that many homes?
Are they listed as a non-profit organization?
They are a non-profit organization. That is correct. But they still are required to, as a nonprofit, you still have to file taxes. You still have to state this is what you earned.
Correct. Okay? That's not my question. Yeah. I know that.
But they're not having to do it, Dale.
Oh, I know that. I know that. But they're starting now. We already.
Oh, yeah. Now.
But how much money does a nonprofit allow themselves to take for profit?
Well, see, that's the problem. You know, how many times do we see that the chairman of a not-for-profit organization, you know, they may only make $50,000, $60,000 doing that. Okay, with all the work, they should be, because if you're the head of something and that's all you do, and you're really doing a good job and the money's going where it needs to go, I don't care how much you make as long as the people on the board is approving it. Okay,
Correct.
Don't care.
Correct.
But this isn't that. You have corrupt people that found out a way that we can take advantage of a situation. I personally don't think they give a shit about George Floyd. They don't care. They love to use that.
George Floyd was a crutch to get him to the next level. It was a step up to get him to the next
so folks,
fight.
Just
right.
If you're
there'll be another George Floyd. Trust me.
Just don't be fooled and don't be suckered into this stuff about, oh my God, I'm going to donate money to Black Lives Matter because they really care about Black lives. No, they don't. It's just like the Democrat Party. Nope. You guys show up every 2 to 4 years. We tell you how to vote, and then you go back to your home. That's all we want you to do. We don't want you to. We're not going to improve your life in any way, shape, or form. We're not because we don't need to, because we're not being pushed to. Well,
if there's anything that classifies as modern day slavery, it's
people
they own them and their minds.
Yep, people
and they're listening to it. It's sick.
People like Leo Terrell, Candace Owens, Tim Scott. Yep. All of these African Americans that are coming out saying no more. No more. So now I think there's actually some African Americans that are seeing it. And, I think so too. They're starting to push back a little bit. You know, I think there's
a lot more that we don't even.
They may never become full blown conservatives. They may never do that.
Maybe not.
However,
maybe not.
Just guys, you're being taken advantage of. I mean, you literally. The conservatives are being accused of being racist and don't care about you and everything else. When your own party that you support. And a group like Black Lives Matter, and trust me, they're not the only ones. They're taking advantage of you. They want you to stay where you're at, because if you show you can succeed in this country, it defeats everything they've been saying. And so, anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Crazy.
Something always pops up with Black Lives Matter, and I just the organization,
all the time,
the global network. Okay, let's be
correct.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Correct. No, that's good, Jim. Thank you. I think now, seriously, I've got nothing else other than maybe our top 5s. You want to get into them?
You don't want to review sports or anything? Nothing in sports?
Yes, NCAA. Yes, North Carolina blew it. Do I run? I'm not a basketball dude.
Well, we don't have to talk about that. I mean, it was a great game. I mean, up and down, you had North Carolina dominating the first half, and then
is there people out there that like us talking about sports?
I have no idea. I don't know. But
anyways,
well, I mean,
it's not that I don't want to. I mean, the Masters is coming. I've got all sorts of. I mean, like the Masters is this week, and we aren't even going to have a show till 2 weeks after. So
I think
there's a lot we can talk about.
There is a curling championship somewhere that we can talk about.
Yeah, there is a curling championship. And we could. I mean, if you want to talk about baseball and all that,
I'm just all I know is this is my happy time. All right, Major League Baseball starting. And just like everything else we always talk about, it doesn't matter who you cheer for, what team you cheer for. Every team starts with excitement, right? Everything's going on. But one thing I wanted to point out, and I saw this, the Oakland Athletics And this is why baseball's the way it is, folks.
Correct.
And I'm a big fan. I love baseball. It's my favorite sport. To me, it's the most truest and purest sport that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And
they got to do something about
this.
But
Oakland Athletics dropped their salary to, I believe it's at $33 or $35 million. I think there's 7 or 8 players in Major League Baseball this year that are going to be making that much money. One player. Now,
per year.
2 players are on the same team. But okay, so you look at that.
And that team better win the World Series, right?
And you look at that, and then you look at a team like
what's the point?
Los Angeles, that's like at $230 million. $200 million more than the A's. And not just them. I mean, you got Boston's up there, New York's up there. There are teams spending. Toronto has, I don't know what the hell's gotten into them, but their spending spree's going nuts. But the difference the biggest difference between baseball and football is salary cap. All right, you're not getting a salary cap now. Baseball's too powerful. There's no way in hell it's going to happen. And the players and owners don't care that their attendance is going down, viewership is going down, because they always want to look at the viewership in the areas where they're in the cities where the teams are at, in the local, the regions. Well, of course, those regions are going to be higher. But I will sit here and say that for the first time since 1900, the Cincinnati Reds will not be hosting opening day. They are on the road. They're not home. Okay, so their home opener against the Indians, will not say the other word.
Thank you for saying
against the Indians is not sold out. And I love the ownership coming out. The ownership's wonderful. Ownership's coming out and saying that. Well, it's because the schedule and what Major League Baseball, the strike.
It's got nothing to do with opening day.
Oh no, Major League Baseball in Cincinnati opening day is schools shut down. I mean, it's a holiday. All right, you should see the Findlay Market Day Parade. You should see the streets around. Are they
still having that? They're
still going to have the parade. They're still going to have all that stuff, but people just aren't going to the game now. I tend to look. I get it. Teams. I'm not just talking the Reds, but I'm talking teams trade players. Right? They want to get value for this now. The Reds didn't get value for what they traded. As a matter of fact, 2 of the prospect pitchers they got to replace the players they trade are starting on the DL. And they knew about it. Anyway.
And they knew about it.
But teams like this, you got teams like Oakland that are, tanking. Pittsburgh, they're not tanking. They just can't keep up,
They can't support salaries like that.
And
they just can't. Small market teams are never going to be able to do it. It's why salary cap works in football. It's why you have so much diversity in football. You have a Kansas City who can compete with matter of fact, who is better than a New York.
Yep.
You got Los Angeles Rams and Cincinnati, right? I mean, you've got small market teams that can beat. It's always been the case. Baseball has priced themselves out of any of that. I love baseball. You know it. It's my favorite sport.
Yep.
It drives me nuts that by the end of this month, how many teams will be out of the running already?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's the truth.
Yeah. Now
it's just the truth. You will get the occasional Tampa. You will get the occasional Kansas City. You will get the occasional Minnesota, right?
And how
coming in that'll win one.
And just think about how that has to happen, right? You have to. Your farm system has to hit, right? You got to have these. Yeah. You got to have these young kids come up and
timing of it,
and then you have to have. Okay, we're going to go out and get this veteran for 1 year at this to come in to play. That's how teams like that compete. Now it happens. Now look, the Tampa Bay Rays is the best run organization in my opinion, all sports.
Me too.
I mean, they know how to do it. They're all analytical, which I hate. I hate analytics. It just drives me nuts.
I think it works better in baseball than football, though.
Well, yeah, but the Rays have figured it out. Okay, but they don't always get there. They're not always there.
No, correct.
And so you get those good stories. You get those feel good stories, but for the most part,
they're extremely rare.
For the most part, we're going to be watching the same teams every year, and
we are.
But I love baseball. I'll continue to watch it. I'll support.
Me too.
I'll support my Reds as long as I can, and I just always have, always will. But I will say this: that city's becoming a Bengals town. So it's always been a baseball town. Always been.
It has. Now it has. But if the Bengals if Cincinnati were to win the World Series this year and the Bengals fall next year, then everyone would be like, I can't wait to. When's baseball starting?
Okay,
it fluctuates.
I mean, look, I didn't expect
Cincinnati. They're all a bunch of.
I didn't expect the Bengals to get where they're at. I didn't expect them to get to the Super Bowl. So maybe the Reds are going to get to the World Series, and then everything's coming up, Jim.
They are not. They are not. They are not
going
to the World Series.
But I mean, look at football. I mean, football ended in February, and we haven't stopped talking about it. We talk about it all year round because
free agency, the draft is.
Oh my God! It's
exciting.
Baseball needs to follow what football does because football. No one knew baseball was really striking except for those of us that were fans of the game because football takes precedence. And there's another major
USFL.
Sport. Well, there's another major sport coming up. They're coming up with their playoffs that last longer than the season does. But were you upset when the Lakers didn't make it?
Oh, so upset when
and all these freaking apologists for LeBron James.
He created that.
Yes, these are the players he wanted. He didn't want to play with younger players. And did you see how well the younger players are doing at the other teams?
Yeah, I know exactly.
And so now he's sitting going, "Hey, I don't make the decisions. The upper management.
It was you.
And you're right.
Take responsibility.
The front office should have said no, and they did. Finally, they told him no. Mm-hmm. He wanted to do something. They said no. We're not doing that. But I mean this is his team. He created this. He wanted this team.
He wanted the age-old Anthony Davis. He wanted Carmelo. He wanted these guys out there.
Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook. He wanted the age guys out there that he wanted to play with, and now he's just boo-hooing about the whole thing.
I think it's funnier than
hell. He's an asshole.
And I love the fact that Cleveland's doing well.
Well, they're doing okay. The injury bug.
But
they're doing well. They're going to finish above 500 the first time since LeBron left.
They're doing better than LA is doing.
You're right. They are, and they still got a chance to make the playoffs. I think they're a 7 seed right now.
But whether they're going to make the playoffs, whether it's play in or
I think it's a play in. Yeah, one of them. But they've gotten hit with the injury bug, but they got a young team. And pretty exciting, And I'm not a basketball fan, but I'm happy because it's not LeBron.
Yeah.
Like I'm so sick of that asshole.
Yeah. Well, we all know that, China and NBA are hand in hand and
China. Yeah.
They love, anyway.
Top 5. Let's get to it. What do you think? Sports? Are we done?
Yep.
I want to talk about the Masters. Real quick, Masters, you got a prediction? Who do you think might take it? Do you even follow it enough to maybe even venture?
I don't really follow it enough. I can only tell you the ones that, the ones that Spieth, and
I know those guys, Tiger.
Yeah. Johnson,
Watson, maybe.
Johnson and stuff. But I do know that the big hitters will have a problem though. Well, because on this course you have to be smart, and
this course the second shot is the most important.
Exactly.
Shot.
So
you can get into little trouble off the tee and be fine.
Which is why the better shot makers in golf win. Well, and it's because of that. You got some of the courses that I'm going to drive the ball 450 yards down the center. I'm fine.
Correct.
So. But that's not the case on this one. So, I don't.
I mean, you've had Dustin Johnson win it. Bubba Watson's won it twice. Those are both big, massive hitters. But they also can play at times the precision game,
exactly.
Which you have to play.
Which is why sometimes they don't make the cut.
Yeah. So, do I have a prediction? I don't. Colin Morikawa, maybe. Maybe Justin Thomas brings it through this time. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's a hard one, but I'm thinking the pure striker is going to win this one this time. And there's a lot of competition out there. Hopefully, Tigers are on the weekend.
Yeah, that
be there on the weekend.
Make the weekend. That's a big story. And I found out too that it won't be the biggest. on Dan Patrick's show earlier in the week, he talked about Ben Hogan and what happened with him. And him and his wife were hit by a Greyhound bus, and he was out of golf for 18 months. And back then they didn't have what Tiger has right now, right? They didn't have the physical therapy. He came back and won five majors.
Yeah, it's a incredible story.
Great, and I didn't know that. I mean, it's something I didn't know. So even if Tiger, it's going to be a big deal because if Tiger wins the Masters after all this stuff, it's going to be great and all that stuff. But it won't be what Ben Hogan did. And I will say this: what's really cool about it too, all the wives out there, he threw his arms around his wife when the bus was coming to protect her. Yeah. It was. I mean, I think we all would.
I think we all would,
but
I don't know if Tiger would have.
I know he got hit with a 2-iron, I think.
So I mean, yeah. But anyways, let's get to our top five. Let's do this. Top 5 favorite comedy movies. We are reserving our honorable mentions for the end. Yep. Am I right? Yep. We have some people who gave us theirs, and I think maybe we should probably read ours first. Obviously, am I wrong?
No, that's Jim? What we usually do. Yep.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
I'll go first. I'll go first.
I feel you should.
Yep. Okay.
I feel you should.
So, my number 5.
Yes.
2006. It was ranked 94 on Pace. IMBD, I was not happy with their rankings. I really was.
Oh, so you just pick and choose the rankings?
No, because this wasn't even on. Talladega Probably Nights, not. Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
It's a great movie. Is it top 5?
You should have seen some of the damn stinkers on their 100 list, man.
Man, I'm telling you, there are some stinkers. I get it because I ranked mine are IMDb based.
Yeah.
The only movie based one you should be using, by the way. But anyways, that's a great movie. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Would it be top 5? Never.
But it's my top 5. Okay. So number 4, 1983. Number 73 on IMDb. Number 27 on Paste. The Original Vacation. Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo. It started the whole thing over again.
Great
all that stuff.
Yep.
Oh, no, by the way, I did not have L for Christmas Vacation on here because that was on our Christmas movie list. So
yes, that's good.
Number 3, I had to put this down because when it's on, I have to watch it. And, I was thinking, well, is that really but it has to be. Number 7, according to IMDb, it is 1996, Happy Gilmore.
Great movie. I do too. I watch it every time it's on.
Okay.
Great movie.
Now, number 2, I have a tie.
You fucker.
You always do it, but I can't.
I haven't done it in ages.
I know.
I thought we talked about this. We'll talk about it off.
The first one was 1981.
You're fired. Yeah.
And it is
1981.
I bring unto you these 15. Oh shit. These 10 commandments. History of the World, Part 1, Mel Brooks.
Great.
Talkamada. I can sing the whole song if you want me to. But
no. Great. And great choice.
It is tied with 1974 movie, Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, bullshit. You tied it.
I had to. They're my 2 favorite ones from Mel Brooks. And look, I could have had 5 Mel Brooks on here, okay?
I know. The whole thing could have been Mel Brooks. Truthfully, the whole thing could have been Mel Brooks. Now, my number 1, which was not on Paste Magazine or IMDb, and I don't get it. 1981, Bill Murray, Stripes. How can that not be in a top 100 comedies of all time? John Candy's his introductory. It was it's a great movie. But number 1, you put that above Mel Brooks.
I love Stripes.
You put that Mel Brooks, who is probably the greatest comedic movie writer of our time. You've got below Stripes.
I love it. Look, and I watch it.
I'm surprised
every time it comes on.
Meatballs didn't.
No, it wasn't even my honorable mention. But it's my damn list. So.
Jim, it's your damn list, and it's my right to criticize.
No, it's not.
So anyways, I'm almost shocked. It's almost sacrilegious to put a Bill Murray movie above anything Mel Brooks has ever done.
Well,
in my book,
look. So I love it.
Listen, I love the movie. Yeah. It's a great movie, bro. It's a great movie.
Okay.
So I'm going to get into my top 5. Or you're not going to do your honorable. We're going to do that.
Yeah, we're going to wait. Yep.
Honorable. So my number 5 movie, 1980. I'll give you some people in it. You might guess who it is. First of all, it was ranked number 4 on IMDb. Starring Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, Rodney Dangerfield, and Ted Knight. Caddyshack.
Yep.
My number 5.
It was honorable mention.
That's a movie I also have to watch every single time it comes on. Every time. My number 4, which might surprise you a bit, 1987 movie, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is the newest movie I have in my top 5. It's from 1987. And it is starring Steve Martin and John Candy, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah, that's classic. Yep.
Classic. Now, would it make a top 5 in a lot? You can criticize me for it.
No,
it probably
John
wouldn't.
Candy. Anything John Candy could technically be in top 5. I mean,
Uncle Buck. You name it, man. You name it. But it was ranked 24th on IMDb, by the way. But that is my number 4. Number 3. You've already said it. Blazing Saddles. Yeah. If there are people listening to this that are younger, and we know we have some younger listeners, if you are not finding that movie and some of the other ones we're mentioning here, then you are missing what real comedy is about.
And
to be honest with you.
And you couldn't make that movie today.
You can't replicate it. You could never do it today. It wouldn't be allowed in theaters. Hell, it wouldn't even be allowed anywhere on the streaming service. That's my number 3. My number 2 movie, 1975, ranked number 1 on IMDb, by the way. Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
It was my honorable mention. It easily could have been.
It could have been, right? I mean, it could have been above. Such a good movie.
My son would probably have that as number 1. He loves that.
Oh my God! Anything by the Monty Python, Monty Python boys, it just cracks me the hell up. I mean, there's multiple ones I could have put on there by them, but that movie specifically. And my number 1's probably going to shock you. It's probably not the funniest one you may have ever seen, but it's my earliest memory of a comedy movie that I've literally watched, and it was when cable first came out, and it was it wasn't even cable. My parents took me to a friend's house. Short, boring story. They went to see some friends. They had a gigantic, football field size satellite dish in their backyard. I didn't even know what it was. Like, what's that? Oh, we can get these movies and all that. And so we sat down and we watched this movie from 1974. Young Frankenstein.
No,
starring Gene Wilder, Madeline Kahn, Marty Feldman, Peter Boyle.
Mel Brooks.
Again, it's a Mel Brooks movie. But it was the first. I sat there and I watched that movie as a youngster.
Yeah.
I was 8 years old.
Great movie.
And I laughed then.
Great movie.
And I laughed every time I watched it since, and it just has been that good for me.
I don't know.
Those are my top 5.
Yeah, and it wasn't, as you could tell, it wasn't one of the favorite Mel Brooks movies.
It wouldn't be. A lot of times it wouldn't be.
But God, it was a great movie. It was funny. Mm-hmm. It was good.
And it was super close between me. It was super close between Holy Grail, Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, and my honorable mention, which is History of the World. You've already mentioned it. So, amazing movie.
I added Spaceballs.
Spaceballs is great.
That was my honorable mention.
Spaceballs is so stupid and funny.
Caddyshack was my in my honorable mention, Tommy Boy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah,
totally forgot about Tommy Boy. I love that movie.
Ron Burgundy, Anchorman. That was great.
Anchorman.
Naked Gun and Airplane. I loved all that.
I got
stuff.
both of those. Yeah. And Police Squad.
Yeah. And the one that probably is going to surprise most people, because if you look at it, most people just didn't like it. But I don't know what it is about this movie, but I love it. Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
Spies Like Us.
Yeah, you did love that movie. More so than Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase did.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you talk to it, but I just thought it was funny. Fletch also.
Yep. Yeah. There's only a couple more that I got on my honorable mentions that we don't. The Jerk with Steve.
Oh yeah, classic.
So funny, and I loved, and I loved it, was Wedding Crashers.
Yep.
I love that movie. But do you want to read some from some of the
a new one
worshippers?
A new one to our list.
A new one.
Yeah, Adam posted his.
Oh, thank you, Adam.
I think I'm gonna go in the way that I think he wants this done. Cannonball Run, which I love that movie. I'm trying to get it to where my kids can watch it. Have you ever seen it with Burt Reynolds? And it's the car.
I have. It's great.
The car race.
Dom DeLuise.
The doctor.
Like, come on.
The doctor shooting. It's just priceless. Stroker Ace, which I thought was pretty good. I don't know if I would have had it in my top, 80, but it was a good movie. Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore.
Great.
And Blazing Saddles, number 1. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how none of them. Cannonball Run really just underrated.
Very underrated. Very
such a funny
Jackie
movie.
Chan.
I even liked the old, I like Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
Like, great movie.
Yeah.
Those are funny movies back then.
You remember Cannonball Run when the Korean car goes by and he goes, "What the hell is that?" I don't know, but it's doing 170.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever the speed was.
Whatever it is.
Do you want to do one?
Sonari, again, contributed. Thank you so much. She put I don't know what order either. She just wrote them down. The Wrong Missy, which is on Netflix, and I believe it's I thought it was an Adam Sandler or David Spade. I think David Spade. Adam Sandler directed it. David Spade. Yeah, pretty funny. Billy Madison, great movie. Super Troopers is funny.
Yep.
I love Super
Would be on
Troopers.
my son's list, I would imagine.
Yeah. Hear No Evil, See No Evil. Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder.
Oh my God! Yeah.
That movie was so funny.
I would probably put Stir Crazy of the two movies
Stir
that
Crazy.
they did. But
I would too.
Great movie. Great movie.
The Jerk, and she's got The Jerk on there. So, do you have another one, or
I've got one here. Joe, who's contributes quite a bit to it. His I'm going to try and read these in the order that I think he would put it. Hot Rod, which it was okay. It was pretty good. Tommy Boy.
Yeah. Great.
And then here's one that has not been mentioned yet, but I love it. Animal House.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And number 2, Stripes. Thank you very much.
Well,
and
obviously an alcoholic.
Number 1, Caddyshack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's redeemed himself.
Yep.
Yeah, he redeemed himself quite well. Joey put this: The Princess Bride.
Oh,
a lot of people really. It's a funny
love
movie.
it.
I am Mateo.
Yeah,
whatever his name is.
You killed my father. Prepare to die.
You killed my father. Prepare to die. Inconceivable.
Yeah.
So, and then he's got Avenger Endgame. That is not a comedy, but I think the way it ended, he's making it.
Wow.
Then he's got Dumb and Dumber, The Pest, and Drop Dead Fred. No, he's a little goofy, so I'm just. I'm thank you.
It's
I'm
like
just kidding
you might as well have Schindler's List on there as well. It's like, what the hell?
The boy in the striped pajamas. Oh, it was hysterical at the end. You got to see that movie.
Platoon.
Yeah, Platoon.
All right. So
you got another one?
Larry, who does a lot of posting for us. Number 5, Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh,
number 4, Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
Number 3, Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Number 2, Stripes. And number one, all Mel Brooks movies.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
I mean,
you got it.
You can't, if you're going to have a tie, man, you might as well just go for it. So I'm thinking that Brother Billy sent something through, but for some reason I can't find it. So give me a second. You got another one?
Yeah, I'll read the last one I have.
All right, read the
Billy, who is the spouse of Larry.
Okay.
A good list. Number 5, Animal House. Number 4, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Number 3, which I love this movie, Bridesmaids. Yeah, I mean Melissa McCarthy is just. I mean, she stole that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's true. Bridesmaids is great. The whole trying on the bridesmaid dresses scene where they get food poisoning is the funniest scene I've ever seen.
And it was, I think, the female version of Hangover is what they were coming. It was great. It was a good movie.
It was.
Oh, by the way, Hangover could have been on there.
Could have been on there.
Number 2, Elf.
Okay. I mean, it's funny. Right. It doesn't have to be Christmas. So what?
And number 1, who I think is one of the most underrated comedies out there. I would not put this as one of his better movies, Will Ferrell, but God, I love this movie with John C. Reilly, Step Brothers.
Great movie. I think it's underrated.
Yeah, it
is.
It probably would have been maybe 3rd or 4th on my list of top 5 Will Ferrell movies, but
correct.
You could have done Will Ferrell movies in your top 5 like Mel Brooks.
Or Adam Sandler. Or like there's a series of comedy, but nothing beats Mel Brooks.
You can't.
Nothing beats any of that.
Because one thing,
you just can't.
You can't make those movies today.
You can't make them anymore. It's a dead art now.
We haven't
thanks to the woke crowd.
Yeah.
Thanks to the woke
crowd. We haven't even mentioned Robin Hood Men in Tights.
We have not. Also another good
because we are manly men. We're men in tights.
Another great movie. And you know what else? What else did I so we got the meaning of life.
Oh yeah.
The meaning of life was great. That's Monty Python. Yep. I'm talking, but like, so those guys too, like you almost couldn't make those movies anymore because of what crowd.
Yeah, you can't.
Billy,
sad.
Yeah. Brother Billy, he did not send one in, but he did have a comment. Okay. About last week, about last week's show. You can always rely on his
insight,
superb comments and insight. Bad video this week. Too much glare from the right side of the new studio.
What? Oh my God. And we did talk about that because there was a lot of glare.
A lot of glare. Oh, so anyways, that's what he said about that. Well, if you haven't seen last week's video, watch it. You'll figure it out.
I didn't have a hat on.
He did have an Ask Us Anything question, and it's stupid as shit because he's stupid. All right. What happened to the Titleist visors? I used to wear Titleist visors all the time. Yeah. I just simply switched the hat. I got the same amount of hair as I did when I have the visors, barely any. I just put on hats. It's a simple answer, you stupid asshole. So now we're moving on from that. Anyways, thank you, Billy. Love you, bro. Anyways, you want to get into AOCs and
Yeah, real quick. Let's do it.
There is less glare to it.
I
can tell you that.
That was pretty good.
All right. Go ahead with your AOC or Schumer or whatever it is you got.
My AOC, it's AOC and Schumer's of the week. And it's, I mean, come on. It's got to be the Palm Springs City Council for no reason other than that they're transgender and non-binary. They're getting up to $900 a month for 18 months. And
would you like an extra $900 a month, extra $10,000 a year? Would you like that?
Would love it.
Okay.
Most people would.
That is ridiculous. Yeah. It still baffles me. Non-binary. You can't prove
that.
And that means nothing.
And I should have went out and grabbed the names of them. But they're not worth even saying their names. It's just it's a joke. Yeah. It's a joke.
It's a joke. Well, yeah, it's absolutely a joke. Mine is a big Schumer of the week. And oddly enough, this big Schumer yields from the same state as the big Schumer. New York City Mayor Eric Adams. who we thought might be turning the corner.
Yep.
We thought this guy might be a little bit better than the asshole that was in there, right? And so, who was it? What was
De Blasio.
De Blasio, that's right. I'm thinking Bloomberg. That was 14 terms in a row before that. Anyways, New York City Mayor Eric Adams has launched a campaign of digital billboards and social media ads to run in 5 Florida cities. What? He's New York. That promote the Big Apple as a place where top city officials are saying that LGBTQ plus people are welcome as tourists and residents. Directly targeting the parental rights bill.
But they're welcome in Florida as well.
They are welcome here too. That's what I'm saying. And once again, nowhere does the bill say don't say gay. This guy's an idiot. He is spending your New York money, people, to run billboard ads to tell people who have fled your state for years now to the free state of Florida to come back because everyone can scream gay in the street. Nobody said that.
Asking first, second, and kindergarten teachers not to teach sex orientation to your children.
Of any kind.
That's it. That's all the bill was.
We have come full circle on this show from where we started to where we end. How do you like how I wrapped that up,
Good
Jim?
job.
I took the story at the beginning and it applied to my Schumer at the end. Perfect, wasn't it? That's just
as usual.
I feel, Jim, through 17 shows you carried us. I feel I carried us on this one. Anyways, I feel I was really the star. And that's just, I let you have your shining moments. It's time to take it back. That's what I'm saying.
I'm trying to.
You're getting.
I'm trying to figure out where those shining moments were. That
your head was getting a little too big for the screen, getting a little too big for your britches. It's time to bring you down a little. You know
because you never bring me down. You always lift me up.
I empower. It's how you take it.
That video that you posted was very complimentary. It really.
I thought you had a good backswing.
Well, and then Adam's comment about that it's too tall to be Jim.
And runs too fast.
It's like just gang up. Go ahead.
Guys, on this week's show, somehow I can implement this video into that video I posted into this. No. I shall do it. Do it. I have complete control over being the editor. Which is why you can blame me for when it's shitty, or you can congratulate me for when it's great. And it's only because we don't have 2 programs where we can we can't do it simultaneously. Yeah. Jim has offered to help. He's working diligently on this website, which has gone nowhere. And then we're continuing to, we're continuing
it's
to
harder than I thought.
Make content. And before we go, I do want to mention this, and we'll talk more about the details later. I just want everyone to know that when you're done listening to us, please go listen to The Conservative. Mark Kramer, an amazing, amazing job he does on his show. And I mean that sincerely. He is one of my favorites to listen to.
Great voice. I mean, just can't.
Great voice. Very insightful.
Do we want to tell everybody?
Good talking points. We'll kind of leave it. We'll leave it until the details. Till we get a little bit further. Okay. There we may have some appearances on that show coming up, right?
Yep.
So we'll get into more details on that later. But seriously, listen to The Conservative. You can find him on Spotify. You can find him on iHeartRadio. He's on Apple.
Yeah. Good listen.
Look it up. Good listen. Very good listen. Follow him on TikTok. He's really, really good. Anyways, watch us, listen to us, like us, follow us, comment about us on YouTube, on Rumble. I'm starting to kind of get the whole tiki-taki thing down a little bit. Maybe there'll be little clips up there. It's really the best way to kind of follow us, and we appreciate it. Jim, do you have anything else to add to the show where you were pretty lame?
Yeah.
Go on. Nothing?
No.
As I suspected. Jim, great show, brother. I mean, seriously. Thank you. We'll see you all in 2 weeks. Again, next week, no show. Just travel, constraints won't allow us to do it, but in 2 weeks, we'll be back. Yep. All right. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Carry on. Bye.